End up working Sundays often, working at Dollar Tree. It's that way since I've come back. It was that way beforehand. I could maybe request to only work certain times so I could still catch church. Although, there is the thing of like, do we have people that can work in the morning, stuff like that? I don't know. I also don't want to be making certain requests like that when, maybe I'm taking away from other people's church times. Hi, Michael. So, yeah, and I'm also, I don't know. I don't really like having to, say no or requests like this. I'm getting better at stuff like this, but I don't really like it. And if you saw the thumbnail, Bible, this is actually in the office garbage can, King James Version, New Testament, red letter edition. I picked it out, see if somebody wants it instead of throwing it away. Manager said I could. I'm probably not going to use it. I have scriptures on my phone. But whenever I can't go to church, I try and make a specific effort to have my Sunday be somewhat holy, Christ-centered, a little bit of gospel study. Being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, hey, we got 2 watching, welcome whoever you are. But being a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, we have our Come Follow Me lessons, which I try and study. I try and do those every Sunday, but I'm actually pretty terrible at that. And that goes into this whole thing of either some stuff is a little too confusing, so me just on my own reading it doesn't really do much. Or even when I'm at church, there's a lot of things that I'm trying to think of. Oh, give me one moment. Alright, we're back. So, yeah, often I'll play a game on my phone with the volume turned off while I'm at church. And it helps me study. I make sure I don't play something that's too mentally taxing, I used to play, I think it was Toy Blast, it's the same type of game as Candy Crush, or I think Bejeweled was one of the first games to do that. So simple little things like that I'll play. That's pretty nice. And they help me focus. But even then, a lot of times it's just this. I have heard that a lot. I'm not trying to discount anything they're saying. They're a wonderful, nice person bearing their testimony about Jesus or giving a good talk on whatever. Nothing's really speaking to me. It's not your fault as the speaker. It's not because I'm having trouble focusing. It's just simply, I know that Jesus loves me and he cares for me, and I'm not trying to discount that either. But it's just, tell me something I don't know. Every once in a while, something does stick out to me, even when I'm reading the scriptures. It's been a while since I've had something that stuck out to me, but stuff does do that every once in a while. Every once in a while. But a lot of the time, it's just kind of, the same old, I forget often, between my personal reading and reading scriptures with my family in the Book of Mormon, I often completely forget, did I read that in my personal reading, or was that with my family? I don't really remember. And I don't remember everything perfectly. I can't quote the entire book to you. But I remember some of where certain things are. I remember certain concepts in there. But then when I read stuff, it's like, oh yeah, this part, and then this comes next, and it comes back to me. And that's not bad. That doesn't mean I'm going to stop reading. Because, if I did stop reading, I probably would have done a long time ago. And then I wouldn't have had the little bits of inspiration that I have had since that, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago. I don't know. But anytime that I work on Sunday, I don't get the easy, my Sunday was holy, going to church experience, which is good. And I try and actually do get stuff out of it. I'm not just going to church for, like there's the sacrament and all the other things and let's just say the thing and get it done with. I want to get out of here. I'm not the go out and do things on the weekend or spend stuff on the weekend. And I do wish I didn't work Sundays at all, which, I even said, when I came back to this job, it'd be nice if I didn't have to work Sundays, but if I do, I can. And then I have requested one day off during the week. That's for the BYU surplus sale. And he was able to give me that day off. I don't know. So I do try and do some studying on the Sundays that I have work. When I have, Come Follow Me, I try and do that every Sunday, even if I do go to church. Even when I get that easy, I went to church. There was a little bit of talk about Jesus. It's not always about Jesus. Sometimes it's about other things too. So, but even when I don't get that easy check off, even when I do get that easy check off, I still try and do the Come Follow Me and learn and study. I don't remember the last time I actually got through a full lesson, but I do try and do it. I read them. There was a period where my family was doing studying together, and doing that with them was good, especially since I could just sit there and listen. And if they wanted me to read, I could. If I had any thoughts, I could share them. But, a lot of times I don't. It just makes sense. Yeah. What they said in the lesson, that makes sense. No problems there. Ooh. I like this. Sunday equals family. See you Monday through Saturday. Closed Sundays. Giving thanks team. Wow. You guys probably cannot. It's not showing up very good on here. I can see it okay in real life. Can I adjust? Yeah, that just looks horrible. Either way, back to me. Good on you, Wiener Schnitzel. Speaking of hot dogs, I'm making a hot dog in my Minecraft series, but you can go watch that during the week. I don't do that on Sundays. And this gets into the territory where, like I said, I don't go out and do things on the weekend. So I don't wish I had Sunday off because of all the fun things I could do and relaxing on the weekend. I wish I had it off because then I wouldn't have to go to work and I could go to church. I've had a few jobs where it was that way. I don't really count this as my first job, but when I was 12 or something, I worked for a friend's preschool. Not open on Sundays. My first real job, as I put it, Lucy's New York Style Pizza, not open on Sundays. Call center wasn't open on Sundays or Saturdays. I don't remember having to work the gas station on Sundays, but if I did, I wouldn't have minded that. Sweeto was not open on Sundays. I loved that. But so it's Dollar Tree. I had to work Sundays. I had to work some Sundays at Marco's Pizza too. I don't remember exactly what happened because there was one day where I went to church and then, I went to work and one of my coworkers asked me if I went to church and I thought that was nice. I remember there was some really good example that this guy gave, but I don't remember what it was, but it was kind of nice to be asked. I don't know, and that was by someone differently. so that it doesn't get confusing if my parents see this. Like at home, mostly with them, you know, if there's something that was interesting, then I'll probably share it with you. Otherwise, it was just an average Sunday. Nothing really stood out to me. That's why I often say good as always. But yeah, studying is a good thing. Make sure that you do some studying. And then, I remembered where I wanted to go with this. For me, it also kind of gets to the point where if I read my scriptures for the day, right now I'm going through all the conference talks from last conference and listening to them. I've done those two things, maybe a little bit of studying. What else? Because especially the studying just gets so boring, and like I can't understand some of it, or oh yeah, that makes sense, I've heard this before. Where's something I don't know? And it gets tough. And so then it gets to a point where I try and find things to do that aren't just the normal weekday entertainment. I try and avoid watching YouTube on Sunday. And I don't put out YouTube videos on Sunday unless they're Sunday themed like this one is. There's been a few others that have been Sunday themed. I try and avoid that stuff. But it really gets to a point where like, what are my choices now? I've done some studying, or it wasn't very much because my mind is too far distracted. What are my choices? What am I gonna do? And what's better than things that I could be doing? Because I definitely have some things I really do not like this, but there are some things in my life where it's kind of like, you know, watching YouTube, like the YouTube videos that I watch, Linus Tech Tips, Lazy Game Reviews, Yank Pods, techie things, other stuff, whatever random things the algorithm decides to serve me that end up being pretty cool. Things like that. I wouldn't normally watch on a Sunday, but they might be better than some of the alternatives. Some of the other things that I could be doing. Like, I don't know, watching a short video on some tech might be a little better than beating up a bunch of zombies in Minecraft, or Survival is not a thing anymore. I think that someone's trying to bring it back, or, you know, playing that. So I try and avoid those things. I try and do studying. Make sure I keep it with my prayers. And yeah, if you have, you know, and this is something where you can also try and plan stuff with other people as far as like the study goes. I'm probably not going to do this, but if you really wanted to, you could find a friend who goes to your same church and then just ask them, you know, what did they talk about? Even if they're not going to remember a lot of it and all the details, still you can ask them, and it might just be as simple as, oh yeah, it was another sermon on Jesus, the usual. Or talk on Jesus would be more fitting with my church. But for Catholics out there, you know, and you know, actually Catholics out there are a little less about the not working on Sunday and not shopping on Sunday. And yeah, I've done a video on this before, I'm sure. I think it was a Let's Talk this kind of style. But I've often had the idea, what if more places had a vending machine with just the essentials, and then you could what is it? Oh yeah, then you could go to the vending machine and just get those important things without making someone work. You know, the Amazon Go store, the one that I know of, it's a step in that direction. So I think things like that would be nice, but I know stores aren't going to do that. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say on this topic. Just try and keep some things lined up that you can do on the Sundays when you're not able to go to church and you're not able to have that experience. You can at least get some study in and bring yourself closer to Christ. Take a moment to have some peace if you can. Relax, read the scriptures. Because that's very important. And even though church is a spiritual recharge, you can find that recharge in your homes if you're doing the right things during the week, but also on Sunday. Come Follow Me was a big preparation for the pandemic and for not being able to go to church, not just individual people, but large groups as a whole. And Zoom was pretty instrumental in that. So yeah, as long as you have a few things lined up that you can do, or even watching good stuff, like watching The Chosen, or maybe you have some other good Sunday shows that you like to watch on Sunday, do that. But just make sure that you have a little bit of time in there that is spent thinking about Jesus and trying to bring yourself a little closer to Him. And then, if you got other things you want to do, sure, I'm not here to stop you. I'm not trying to say list of things that are wrong. Hopefully this inspired some of you guys. I was kind of hoping that I had, something a little more deeper. Oh, and also, tying into the friends thing I mentioned earlier, not only just hey, I wasn't able to make it to church, what did they talk about, but, even studying with them if you want. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully I inspired some of you and, gave you some ideas. It's not the end when you can't go to church. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have a good Christ-filled Sunday. You can still do that. Oh, and I guess the final thing, I try and avoid YouTube and all that stuff. What I forgot to say was